Wonderful. We have a range of batch coming from Web 18, 17, 16, PT, also batch there. Wonderful. I want another revisit. Can you also type what is your education background? Keep it BTech non-CS, BTech CS, and you can write BA, BCom, BSc, MBA, PCA, whatever you do. Okay, we have BA, BSc, BCom, BSc, Zoology, wonderful. BTech, BA, BA Arts, BCom, BTech Computer Science, Diploma, MCA, BCA, Chartered Accountant, my God, CA, I want to meet the CA, who's the CA here? BCA, PUC, 12th standard, wonderful. So we have a wide variety of mix here. Super. I just wanted to reconfirm that we have a mix of people here. Anyone from Masai here? Because I just need to plan accordingly. Should I talk more from the student background or should I talk about employees also here? Anyone from Masai? When I say Masai, employee here, looks like largely 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not an issue. Okay, great. So let's get going. I'm going to share 7 statements here and you have 5 options to choose from. Okay, so do you all have a pen and a paper? I'm going to share 7 statements, and when I share this statement, you have to give a score. What is the score that you can give is 5. That means you completely agree with this statement, strongly agree. Okay, I'll release the statements in a moment, but before that, I want to tell you what is the point system. It's good to know where we are. But the most important thing, it's a self-assessment. When you do this, do it with truth. I'm not going to ask you to share that result. If you're comfortable, you can share. But it's good to know where we are, right? So I'm going to share 7 statements. For each of those statements, you have to award 5, which you strongly agree. Or you can say, I agree. That means you give 4 points. Not strongly agree, but you agree. The third one is somewhat I agree, disagree. I'm not sure whether I want to agree or disagree somewhat. Then it is 3 points. I disagree, 2 points. And I strongly disagree is 1 point. Are you with me? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to share the 7 statement one by one. On a piece of paper, you can write 1 dash 5 or 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. In the end, I want you to total it. I hope the instruction is very clear. Please, when you're doing this exercise, be truthful and what you are today. Not that what I want to be in 6 months down the line or 1 year down the line. For example, I keep using this statement. I am a disciplined person. Now you will say that in next 6 months I'll be disciplined. No. Are you disciplined today? Strongly agree, then it is 5 points. Okay. So let's start. I'm going to give you the statement number 1, and just to help you, I've put those scoring again. The first statement is, I feel like I don't deserve any success I have attained. Whatever success you have attained. You could have cleared unit 1, you are almost sitting for placement, you've got a job, you have won some awards in schools and colleges. It could be in art, it could be in education. Don't use the chat box, please. I have asked you to use a pen and a paper and write this score. I repeat again, it is a self exercise. Do not write on the chat box. Okay, so I want you to total it. I feel like I don't deserve any of the success I've attained. Arif, do not put it on the chat box. My instructions are very clear. Okay, please follow instructions. The second statement is, even if people praise my skills, I still don't think I'm an accomplished person. Sometimes people praise your skills, right? Oh, Vivek, do not type on the chat box, please. I repeat again, do not type these numbers on the chat box. Use a pen and a paper and tally it. I hope Shweta, Hemant, Arif, Vivek, my instructions are clear. Please follow instructions. Even if people praise my skills, I still don't think I am as accomplished as I can. It happens, right? Sometimes people will come and say, hey, let's say, Prashant, you did excellent job. And you feel that, I don't think I'm accomplished. I didn't do this. It happened by chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Statement number 3. When I get a reward for my hard work, I don't feel I have earned it. Right? Probably when a student writes to us, let's say they say, Yogesh, your session was good. It's a hard work, right? It doesn't happen that I just get up and I do a session. But do I feel that I have earned it, or do I feel that nahi yaar, I have not earned it? Or you have solved a data structures algorithm problem very well, and your instructor says that, Lokesh, excellent you have done. This is superbly you have solved. Or a customer of yours says that, whatever you have supplied today is very good. Okay? Statement number 4. I'm afraid that people will soon find out that I'm not as smart as I think, and I may make out to be. Okay, एक दो बार तो हो गया है, यूनिट 1 क्लियर कर लिया है. I'm not sure whether I'm going to clear unit 2. People are going to find out about me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most of the accomplishment I have achieved so far in my life was a fluke or by chance. The luck was on my side and it happened. Again, you can give a score: strongly disagree, disagree, neither agree or disagree, or the last two statements. Statement number 6. I find it difficult to accept compliments. I don't know, are you aware of this? Some people find it difficult to accept compliments. They feel very, very uncomfortable. If they come and say, hey, you have dressed very well today. The way you answered that question was very good. Or they would say that you're prepared, today the food was very well prepared. You find it very difficult to accept the compliments. It's so difficult that sometimes people may also find it difficult to say thank you to that person. It happens, I've seen with many people, right? Find it difficult to accept a compliment or a praise. Finally, statement number 7. I downplay my achievement. I don't think they are amazing as people think they are. You have done extremely well many things and you are capable of doing, but you downplay. I'm going to talk about downplay a little more as we keep moving. Okay, so these are the 7 statements. I hope you have given some number basis what you agree or disagree, and now you total it. So the maximum you can get is 35. The least you can get is 7. Okay, it could be anywhere between 7 and 35 तो आना ही चाहिए. Math तो गलत नहीं होगा. Okay, you have a score. Do you want to take 30 seconds to tabulate it? I hope it's all easy. Okay, done. Now what is the interpretation? Okay, Yogesh, you made us do an exercise for 5 minutes. What is this interpretation of this exercise? You may want to know, right? What is 16? What is 14? What is 25? Okay, now people who scored below 15, add 2 points to it. Let's say your score is 10, add plus 2. This is called as correction factor in behavioral assessment, because people either overestimate or underestimate themselves. People who got above 25, minus 2 from that. Are you with me? Prashant, is there any disturbances from my side? Some people are saying that there's some background noise. Is it okay? Okay, fair enough. Great. So you have done the score. Now you have a score. Now it is called adjusted score. Now what does it mean? I'm going to release it. The participants who have scored 1 to 15, you have an imposter syndrome. I'm going to explain to you what it is. And not to worry, don't get intimidated by this word imposter syndrome. क्या मुझे कोई therapist के पास जाने का है क्या? I'm going to explain to you in a moment. Not to worry. The most important is understand that we have a challenge and we need to overcome, and it is doable. You don't need anything else. It's just that you need to correct your thoughts, feelings and behavior. That's all. I'm going to make it very easy for you. So if you have scored 1 to 15, normally what it means is no matter what you accomplish, you are unable to enjoy your success. You see yourself as an imposter. What does this word imposter means? I'm explaining in a moment. It is a person who pretends to be someone else. and fear that people will discover that you are actually not competent. Competent means knowledge and skill. You lack confidence, a tendency to believe that success is due to luck, not because of your abilities and capabilities. You fear that you will not be unable to sustain and thus lose people's respect. And you experience a great deal of self-doubt, and self-esteem is low. There's a typo error there. Now what if your score is about 25 to 35? Now I'll come, a beach ka score kya hua sir, you may ask me. I'll come to it in a moment. Right? You take ownership, if you have done it the right way, and what you think you are and what actually you are, if it is same, then these scores are right. You take ownership of most, if not for your success, and believe you have earned the respect and praise that come to. Essentially, you don't feel like an imposter who will be found out. You believe you have the ability to achieve great things and gives you a deep sense of satisfaction. Not to worry whether you are in 1 to 15 or 25 to 35. First of all, your assessment has to be appropriate. That itself, there can be a question mark. Now, people who are in between the scores, let's say 16 to 24, you could be sometime this side, sometime that side. That is why there is no rating. So 1 to 15, you're on this side, 25 to 35 on this side, and we will figure out what needs to be done. Are you all with me so far? Is my pace okay? Okay, good. So let's move forward and let's deep dive into imposter syndrome. Before we go into it, I want to make a disclaimer. I've never made this in Masai school. I want to make a disclaimer because this session that I'm running is something new. In fact, the word imposter syndrome, first Pratik used it with me when we were having a discussion very early stages in Masai school. He said, Yogesh, Nupul, a lot of our students have imposter syndrome. I never heard that word before. Then I just went back and did some Googling at that time. I found it difficult to understand at that time. Then over a period of time, then I realized what it is. Then I understood this is very deeply there with a lot of our students, imposter syndrome. And I have also seen some of the family members also have that because I started understanding this. So I'm taking this session, but please, I'm making a disclaimer. I'm not a therapist. I'm not certified on this topic. So this session is purely based on my learnings, either interacting with people, seeing students, seeing people around me, and doing a lot of desk research. Okay, so please understand this, that what I'm doing is purely on that. That's a disclaimer here. I may be right, I may be wrong in my interpretation because it requires a lot of understanding of human beings. So what are we going to cover? So it all depends on Prashant, how much sessions he is going to give me. It can go to 2 to 3 sessions. Initially I told 2 sessions. The way the content looks like, it may take 2, 3, but we will do it slowly and nicely. We are not in a hurry. So I'm going to cover today what is imposter syndrome, how imposter syndrome can affect your career and life, 5 different types of imposter syndrome, tips to overcome imposter syndrome. I'll try to cover 4 things today. And then when we meet again in a week's time or in 2 weeks' time, we will look at what do we do when we fail. We are all going to fail. All of us will fail in some way or the other. Failure is the first attempt in learning. In fact, as a child, we have been told not to fail because our knowledge system, exam systems are such that we take exams once a year, right? And so you can't afford to fail because you have to repeat the entire year. So the parents keep telling you can't fail, you can't fail, you can't fail. But at work, when you are learning something, it's perfectly fine to fail. Imagine that if you're trying to learn how to make a pastry or how to make a dish or coding, it's impossible to learn without failing, right? So failure is a first attempt in learning. The second aspect we can look at after we come back is how to boost self-confidence at work, how to break the cycle of doubt and work, and understanding relationship between imposter syndrome and self-confidence, and 3 ways to fight the imposter syndrome. So let's get going and let's start. Okay, so let's get going. I keep seeing people are typing background noise. I want you to check your side. I have confirmation there is no background noise from my side, and you need to fix it. So stop typing and chatting there because it is disturbances for others. Okay. If you want, I'll check again what is the system. I am on a 5G. Things looks okay. I don't know. Okay. So let's get going and let's start with this. Thoughts, feelings, and behavior. I want you to write down somewhere on the sheet of paper. It's a ceiling fan you're saying? Okay, let me turn off the ceiling fan and see. Okay. So thoughts, feelings, and behavior. The key word is thoughts, feelings, and behavior. The key word that while we are doing this session on imposter syndrome is these three key words. I'll keep repeating it. What thoughts goes in your mind, what feelings that you go through, and output is the behavior. Right? Thoughts, feelings, behavior. Okay? Let's do that. Do you get this kind of thought? Sometimes. Even when I do well, I don't think I really deserve. Do you get this thought? I might have done this time, but not sure. How will I do it next time? I don't think I can continue doing like this every time. Some of our students told me, sir, this week 996 कर लिया, पता नहीं अगले week कर पाऊंगा नहीं. They came and told me and Rupul, they have told, sir, इस unit में clear कर लिया हूँ, अगले unit पे पता नहीं क्या होगा. इस interview में assessment clear हो गया, I don't know whether I'll be able to clear the technical round. I worry that people will find out that I'm not as smart as they think I am. I downplay my achievement. I'm going to spend a little time on this word downplay. It's hard for me to accept compliments and constructive feedbacks. I've already discussed. I compare myself to the other team members. I compare myself to my other colleagues. I compare myself to the other student. I compare myself to other people in my domain and feel that like a fraud. The word fraud means here what it says is I'm actually not good, but I'm showcasing like I'm good. I have felt unworthy for the job promotion. There are some people who got promoted and they feel that they don't deserve this promotion. They may not have told it, but that's what they feel. Please remember these three keywords: thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Please remember the thoughts and the feeling result into your behavior. Behavior is nothing but an action which can be seen by the other person. Right? It could be action through the words. It can be action through your non-verbal communication. I have always doubted my success and you always feel others are amazing. I have listed some 7 or 8 of them. Do you have these thoughts, feelings, and behavior? If yes, and this is what is known as imposter syndrome. These feelings, these thoughts resulting in certain behavior is known as an imposter syndrome, or what psychologists call it as an imposter phenomenon. Okay, so let's go a little more in detail. Now you will be surprised. This is one of the most common psychological issues that are facing modern humans. Now, typically the modern humans I'm talking about in India, people who are born somewhere around in 70s and 80s, and they have started entering, and it is getting more in 90s and 2000. You know, the generation Z that you're all coming in, it is becoming more and more common because you are brought up in a society where many things are taken care. So when the basic needs are taken care, these kind of psychological issues come up, and that is how it is, and not to be worried about it, and we can overcome. Now the question is, let's go a little more in detail, and I think we should give due credit for the person who did substantial amount of work. It was two psychologists, Pauline Rose Clance and Suzanne Imes, developed this concept, originally called imposter phenomena, and later on it was called imposter syndrome. Feelings, thoughts, behavior. Now what they said is 70% of these are the feelings. I listed down all this, right? You don't deserve this. You will fail. You are not as good as what you think about it. People will figure it out. I don't deserve this credit. All these are thoughts and feelings. And some of them, they come and go, and 30% of them are consistent feelings. When you have consistent feelings, it will impact your behavior. And that is what it happens at work or at life. Now, there is a beautiful framework which Pauline and Suzanne developed called ABC framework. They say the success is a function of ABC. A is ability, B is breaks. Breaks are nothing but opportunity. And C is courage. It's a beautifully done. I really like this ABC framework. Abilities, opportunities, and courage. Now let's say that abilities. You have learned full stack web development in Masai school, but there are no opportunities in the market. You will struggle, right? You have ability, you have opportunity, but you don't have courage to face interview. Then you will also struggle. So it is a combination of abilities. Obviously, you have been given opportunity, you are courageous, but in the interview stage, they will figure it out. You don't have abilities. No, break is not luck. Break is opportunities. Okay, abilities. But the imposter syndrome person who has, he doesn't look at it as an opportunity, he'll consider it as a luck. Now, she clarifies that people with imposter syndrome, that's what it is. Very well said, Govind Agarwal. They fixate. They say that they have been successful because of breaks and courage and not because of ability. They consider I have been lucky and I got it, not because of my ability or courage. So, ask yourself, do you believe that you have the requisite abilities to get that thing going? Do you have that opportunities and courage? Now, let me spend a minute here. For a lot of people might still find it difficult to understand this word imposter. Imposter का मतलब ये है person who pretends to be someone. For example, I pretend I am his cousin and I go along with him to attend one of the marriages. होता है ना? I pretend to be his friend and I want to get an invitation into a birthday party. I pretend to be someone. The syndrome, my God, big word, right? Dongi, yeah, Hindi में dongi बोलते हैं, सही है. Now, syndrome, not to get worried. A lot of people say syndrome has got to do with some mental disease or something like that. No, it's a symptom. Because of these thoughts, feeling, there are certain symptoms that you demonstrate through the behavior. But there is no definite cause. Please understand there's a difference between a disease and a syndrome. Disease, you can very clearly map it, right? Whereas a syndrome is because of certain things which are not clearly mapped, but you need to figure it out. Okay? Now, people with imposter feelings represent a conflict between your own self-perception and the way the others perceive you. This is the biggest challenge. The way you perceive yourself and the way others perceive you, there is a huge difference. And this is what is creating chaos in your life. Others believe you have ability. Others believe you can have the skills. Others believe you are good, you deserve it. But you don't believe it. Because your thoughts, feelings are in such a way and you don't believe that, and because of which there is a huge fight that is happening within yourself. And because of which people go through a lot of challenges and turmoil. And the worst thing that can happen to these individuals is they don't achieve what they deserve. Right? Of course, if the situation, somebody is writing it very nicely, Karthik is saying, sir, the situation can be reversed. Yes, they are clear frauds and they will be found out. There are some people who have that courage. They may not have the ability. They try to showcase something, right? Please remember, friends, in a job like coding, especially any job that has high skill demonstration, you can't manage with just being bravado. Bravado means what? Having courage without having capability, right? You will be exposed. You will be exposed, right? And in today's situation, if you are without having the capability, you just show that courage and get into it, and it is just a matter of time. As they say, दूध का दूध, पानी का पानी, and it will be known very easily. So I'm not going to discuss that area. People will figure it out, and they will not sustain for a long period of time. I'm worried about people who have capability. I'm worried about people who truly deserve what others are saying, but they don't believe in themselves. Please remember, friends, fundamental to life is belief. I think I have covered this a lot during my Skillathon session, but I want to revisit this. Are you able to see this whiteboard? Are you able to see this whiteboard? Yeah. See, fundamental to life is belief. I use a short form, belief. When you have positive belief, strong belief, what happens is your attitude is positive. I'll give you an example. When students come into Masai school, they may not truly believe what is Masai school. They would have heard about Masai school from some source. But if they have come through a referral or a friend, where a friend has actually showed what has happened for his journey in Masai school, then the belief is better. But when the student go through the unit 1, and when he clears the unit 1 and comes to unit 2, his belief in Masai school is more. Believes in 996 is more. Belief in Scrum is more. Belief in unit assessment is more. Belief in what Nrupul, Yogesh, Aman, Albert, Dhaval, Varun, everybody is saying gets better and better and better. Belief in our unit assessment, our rubrics gets better. Now, when you have a strong belief, you have positive attitude. Your attitude to Scrum is positive, your attitude to lessons are positive, your attitude to pre-course is positive, your attitude to stand-up is positive, your attitude to assessment is positive. When the attitude is positive, your efforts are very high. I'm just giving you a connection here. A strong belief leads to a positive attitude, leads to effort in the right quantity, right quality, right direction. There are so many students forget 996. They'll go on till midnight. And I have seen this in campus. Of course, I used to come back home by 9:30, or even sometimes early. Nrupul used to stay back. Pratik used to stay back. Aman used to stay back in our campuses. There were students till 12, 1 o'clock, yeah. We used to say, go home. They say, nahi sir, ye khatam karke jaunga. Right? Effort in the right, they never felt that because the belief is very high. When you have a strong belief, a positive attitude, high efforts, what happens to result? What will happen to result? Exceptional result, right? Exceptional result. They enjoy doing what they are doing. Now look at this cycle. You have a strong belief, positive attitude, high efforts leads to result. What happens to that belief? It gets stronger. Now this is a benign circle. So every time you keep doing this, your belief gets stronger and stronger and it becomes unshakable. The opposite is also true. I don't believe in 996. I don't believe that I can learn online. I don't believe that I can be successful in coding. I don't believe that Masai school entire system works. So what happens to the attitude? Will be negative. When the attitude is negative, my efforts are lower. When my efforts are lower, my results are also lower. And what happens to that belief? They'll say, "Maine bola na, ye kaam nahi karega." Now this is what happens to many students when they join Masai school in the initial days, because they don't believe in the system. Belief is very much internal. You need to start with some belief in life. When you start a business, you need to believe that I can do it. Okay, I hope this concept is useful. I wanted to share with you because many people lack belief, right? So this is extremely important that if you want to do this. Okay, so let's get back to where we are. I slightly deviated because this is an important concept that you need to know. So, person with an imposter syndrome experience an intense feeling that their achievement are undeserved, worry that they're likely to be exposed as a fraud. So please, I've spoken about imposter for the last 30 minutes. It is not a disease, it is not an abnormality or linked to depression. It is thoughts, feelings, and because of that, What is the behavior that comes out? That's all. So you need to work. So what is the lesson? What is it that you need to correct? Can somebody use a chat box? Meanwhile, I'll have a water break. What is it that you need to correct? What is it that you need to correct? Your thoughts and feelings. You need to correct your thoughts and feelings. Whenever there is an external stimuli that happens, your thoughts and feelings, let's say that you see a Slack message. Prashant has sent a Slack message to all of you saying that after this session with Yogesh Bhatt Masai School, there is going to be an assessment. I'm just giving an example. There's not going to be any assessment. I hope so. So what is the thoughts and feelings goes into your mind? Oh God, I'm not going to achieve this. I'm going to fail in this. I'm not prepared well. So that translates into a behavior. What could be a behavior? You may log out of the system, or you be very vocal saying that, hey Prashant, how can you last minute give me an assessment? This is not appropriate and I'm not going to do that. So work around your thoughts and feelings and you can change your behavior. So let's get going. I'm really behind. So another way to look at it is imposter syndrome is in essence an expression of low self-esteem. Now I'm giving you another word now, self-esteem. Ye kya hota hai? Many of us talk about self-confidence, right? Sir, mujhe confidence nahi hai. I keep getting these messages. How do I develop my self-confidence? You need to step back. People have self-confidence because they don't have self-belief. People with low belief and low esteem. If you have low self-esteem about yourself, it's impossible to build your self-confidence. See, if you don't value yourself, forget it, others are going to value you. Right? You can be very humble. That's okay. But you can't have low esteem, right? You have your rights. You know your abilities. So bolster that courage in you so that you live a life of esteem. Okay? So, is it real? Very much real. And I want to give you some result here. Who and when it is impacted. 70% of individuals experience imposter syndrome at least once in their lives. I have experienced, I'll tell you when. I have seen a lot of people experience, but luckily I came out of it. Prashant just shared in the beginning, he has also experienced, and I'm sure many of you have experienced this, right? Now, typically, this gets little, spurged when you get into new environment, when you get into a new job, new domain, new city, new friends, new locality. I'll tell you, because of this, what do? What are your thoughts and feelings and behavior? You withdraw. You avoid. You get into a shell. Right? So new environment, new company, new domain, new city. This is what is likely to happen. It affects both gender. It doesn't spare men or women across ages. That doesn't mean that I've crossed 25, I will not have. I'm 40, I will not get. It can come for people at any time. Because thoughts and feelings. Okay? Now, please know that you are not alone. I'm going to share with you some very famous personalities who openly acknowledged in public they have imposter syndrome. Coming up, the first one. Can you tell me who is this? Can you tell me who is this? Tom Hanks. Can you tell me some of the movie Tom Hanks has acted in? Tom Hanks? Huh? Absolutely. Forrest Gump, Da Vinci Code, Castaway, right? Saving Private Ryan. He's been in Hollywood for 40 years. Is he successful? Is he a successful actor? Yes. Now let's see what is he saying. Academy Award winning actor Tom Hanks too has experienced self-doubt. No matter what we have done, there comes a point where you think, how did I get here? When are they going to discover that I am a fact, a fraud, and take everything away from me? So if a guy like Tom Hanks, after 40 years in Hollywood, having some amazing movies that he has acted, if he could feel. So it's nothing wrong that if you and me are feeling about it. The question is, we need to understand this and work towards it. That is what the whole idea about this session is. I want you to open your mind and think, are you going through this situation? If it is yes, I need to work on my two things, that is my thoughts and feelings, and come up with appropriate behaviors and action. That is what the whole idea is all about. Let's look at the second person. Who's this? How many of you are able to identify this person? Michelle Obama, wife to the most powerful man on earth during his tenure, Barack Obama, POTUS, President of United States of America, right? What did she say? I still have little imposter syndrome. It doesn't go away. That feeling that you shouldn't take me that seriously. What do I know? I share that with you because we all have doubts in our abilities, about our power and what that power is. It's good. Some amount of this doubt is always good because it will push you. But if it becomes dominant is where that's a challenge is. You know, I was very uncomfortable. Let me give you an honest statement here. Well, okay, I agreed that I want to do imposter syndrome. In fact, Shruti and me, Shruti from CSBT team and myself are working on this project. She did the version 1 and then I started working on it. Somehow I kept postponing it. But when I asked myself very detailed, in back of my mind, I always felt that I'm not qualified to do this session. And then I mustered up the courage, and when I was down with COVID, I had a lot of time to work on something because none of them reached out to me and I was not taking some sessions. During that COVID 1 week when I was in isolation, home isolation, I completed this. And then I came back and I told Prashant that I want to take a session. So many a times it's that you doubt your abilities. Who's this? I'm going to show four personalities. Can you tell me who is she? She was rated as a top 10 powerful woman in the world. I don't know, my God. Cheryl, Prashant got it. Cheryl Sandberg. She is the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook. Previously, she was with Google. She was Chief of Staff with Defense Secretary in the United States of America. She's a billionaire now because she holds the Facebook shares, and which is into billions. She was voted as the top 100 women in this world. And she has written a book called Lean In. All women here, I request you to buy this book. In her book, she has written about women, work and will to lead, which helps women to overcome the fear of failure, among other things. And what did she write? Every time I didn't embrace myself or even excelled, I believed that I had fooled everyone yet again. One day soon the jig would be up. Even she did the same. The last one, I grew up watching these movies. Can you identify her? Absolutely. Emma Watson, Harry Potter. Good actress? Absolutely. What did she say? Publicly, she admitted to the imposter syndrome. In an interview with Vogue, she shared how she feels when people offer her praise for her acting. Obviously, they would say that, the kind of acting she has done in Harry Potter series. Now, when I receive recognition for my acting, I feel incredibly uncomfortable. I tend to turn into myself. I feel like an imposter. So why am I giving these examples? Why am I giving all these celebrities? Yes, they have achieved many things in life, but we ourselves might feel in a different way when some things happens here, right? Why I want to share with you is imposter syndrome has high prevalence among tech professionals. Now I pulled out some data. and Rupul has been talking about it, why tech professionals feel it. According to the recent report, 58% of tech employees report experiencing imposter syndrome in their careers. The research included employees of Facebook, Apple, and Uber. And what was shocking for me is 45% of Apple tech force experience imposter syndrome. It was difficult for me to believe, because getting into Apple itself in tech role, you must be really probably 1% of 1%. Can I make this statement? 1% of 1%. Why not Google? Aman, I don't have an answer to it. I just pulled some data. Maybe Google could be 30%. I don't. 1% of 1% get into Apple, right? That means what? 0.1% of tech, or even lesser than that, right? But if they are having it, what could be the reason? Right? So, for a tech people, it is very simple. Imposter syndrome is a feeling of not being good enough to get the job done. It's a common among software engineers, developers, and designers working in these tech companies, especially those not coming from traditional tech background. Arey yaar, ye dekho. While at one side we say that tech is the most democratic field, it doesn't matter BTech, civil engineering, BCom, BA, BSc, anyone and everyone can get into tech, but there is also a flip side to it. Because these guys made into it, and they may be surrounded by people who would have done BTech in computer science, MTech in something like that, we have the thoughts and feelings that I am not from traditional tech background, that I have this imposter syndrome. This is exactly the feeling many of the students in Unit 1 go through. You all feel that, अरे Masai स्कूल तो एडमिशन दे दिया, मैं BA हूँ, 12th स्टैंडर्ड हूँ, BCom हूँ, BTech सिविल इंजीनियरिंग हूँ, कोड का C तक मालूम नहीं है, जिंदगी में कभी नहीं किया है, कर सकता हूँ क्या? And that is why they get into the shell and they go away. And even if some people get courage and they complete Unit 1, they'll still think it happened by fluke. Please believe in that ABC. Abilities, breaks are nothing but opportunities, and C is courage. Right? So let's get going, and I'll give you more some detail. Why does imposter syndrome happen? Why does imposter syndrome happen? That's the question. ठीक है योगेश, आपने बताया कुछ लोग को आता है, कुछ लोग को नहीं आता है, ये क्यों आ रहा है? Again, I can't pinpoint exactly say this is the reason. This is a study says these could be the reason. The first one is childhood traumas. What has been your upbringing? What is that during that developmental phase when you are between 8 to 14? If you have gone through some kind of traumas, it could be possibility. Schooling and parenting, the kind of schools that you went, the kind of parenting that you received. If the parents are the one who always encouraged you and you saw people, they encouraging others, and if they or always they have been ridiculing you, or if you come with a society that has not been supportive, relationship issues, you had some challenges with the parents or siblings, discrimination in front of you, your brother or a sister were more given importance than you, or at school or at work, right? Outside factors like environment, happens. Outside factors, the kind of society that you are coming in, or sometimes sudden shift in careers or domains or positions can also be the reason of imposter syndrome. Think through it. You can't undo the past, but if you're able to identify that one reason, could be possible reason, which is nothing can be definitive about it. Now the question is, why does imposter syndrome thrive in tech environment? You know, the number one culprit is the technology fast pace. While there are many positives about tech as a domain, but culprit number one is the pace. You were good as today. You don't know new technology coming. Somebody 10 years younger than you can come and show something that can be done better than you. You know, tech does not value much about number of years of experience that you have spent here. Whereas teaching to a large extent, or research and development, or when you're working in a factory kind of an environment, or old school of businesses, they value all this. In technology, the pace is so much, right? In probably the only domain where reverse mentoring happens. I go to Aman wants to learn many things from him. Maybe I'm 2x of his age, but it's perfectly fine. I have no qualms about it, because he can help me to learn so many things, right? Tech industry is where there are very high achievers and overachievers. People have come from different domains. People have come and done many things. They want to be there because they have been recognized and rewarded. So it is attracting people from everywhere. Look at today. When I asked you the first thing, please type your background. You said BA, BCom, BSc, BTech. Huh? All more places are coming, right? So it is attracting a lot of high achievers and overachievers. So for you to prove here, it is not just getting into tech. Please, I keep telling you, friends, when I get these messages, how do I get 15 lakh salary, 18 lakh salary, 20 lakh salary? That should not be your terminal goal. Your goal should be, how do I be relevant in the tech industry? Because this industry is ruthless. And the technology is fast paced. And you will continue to attract high achievers, overachievers. So focus on building that skill, focus on enjoying building products, focus on understanding the fundamentals, the principle behind it. And career paths are very fluid. You know, I had a very nice discussion with Rupul yesterday, where he was talking about in a startup environment, there are many positions in tech can become irrelevant. Yes. And it again depends upon the journey of the organization. I'll ask one day him to take in the scrum. When the startup is 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to N. He was talking about 3 different journeys of a startup and how the tech can play, the technology leaders can become irrelevant. Career paths are very fluid. Unrealistic expectation from the organization and also from the employees and the bosses. And the other reason is many of the tech professionals are obsessed with perfectionism. While being perfect is good, but that should not get into a behavior, because that will get into a lot of challenges, both with you and with the team, and of course the culture. Now, I'll try to cover this before we wind up. I'm really running late today. I'm going a little more in depth. Not an issue, we'll catch up tomorrow. Now, the question is, I've said, why this imposter syndrome? What is an imposter syndrome? We also did one analysis of self. Now let us look at some 6 signs. Do you have an imposter syndrome? Sign number 1, you continuously down talk yourself. What do you mean by down talk? You find very difficult to take credit of what you have done. I'm not talking about the other way, people taking credit for not being done. I'm worried that you have done and you find it very difficult to take credit. You keep focusing only on your mistakes. अरे यार मैंने वो गलत कर दिया, मैंने ये नहीं किया है. I walk on the street, I only see what is not going well. It's very difficult for me to notice what is good in the street. I look at something, I know there are some people, right? You go to a marriage or you go to, I still remember I went to a place in Ahmedabad and they served a thali which had some 30 items. And we were 4-5 of us and I was super excited eating there. And then there was one guy who said that इस थाली में मिंट चटनी टेस्ट अच्छा नहीं था. अरे यार 30 items they were given and you are complaining about mint chutney in that thali and you never appreciated the 29 items, right? You keep focusing on the mistakes, that is also down talking to yourself. So people with imposter syndrome usually feel obligated to down talk themselves at every given instant. So point number 1, what is that you need to do? Stop down talking yourself. If you continue to do that, it will trigger your thoughts and feelings in that direction, and that will result in that kind of a behavior which other people can notice. Now, what is the problem with perfectionism? Well, I keep telling that, right? Even Sachin Tendulkar is not perfect. Do you believe to this statement if I make that Sachin Tendulkar is not perfect? If he was perfect, he should not have got out. He has got out so many times. Nobody is perfect except God. So let's not get carried away saying that I am perfect and I expect perfectionism. Yeah, it should be good, right? So, but don't get into this zone of 100% perfect. The problem with people who are doing this perfectionism, no, they can't delegate and they don't want to attempt. even if they know 80%. You can get to perfectionism only by trying. Nobody gets perfectionism 100%. First of all, I don't believe in perfectionism because there is always a scope for improvement, right? And because of this perfectionism, success is not satisfying, and they have only two views, perfect or bad. It can't be. This spectrum is too much. Yeah, I want to get better, but it can't be perfect or bad. I don't think so. Amir Khan is Mr. Perfectionist. He's trying to get there. Nobody is perfectionist. Setting excessive goals can also be there. The third outcome of imposter syndrome is not taking responsibility. They shy away from responsibility. They want somebody to take your responsibility, and they are okay to partner with you because they lack self-esteem. When you lack self-esteem, the output of that behavior is you don't take responsibility. And when there is a low self-esteem, people see a bad thing, they immediately identify with them. Oh, maybe I say you. Conversely, they also say that they are not good at things rather than saying what they are good at it. The problem is their idea of what is good and what is bad is understood only by themselves. Others people find it very difficult. Okay? Number 4 is fear of failure. People who have imposter syndrome, they have this all of us have fear of failure. But the question is it dominant? When you have a dominant fear of failure, as the quote says, fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. I just want to say there has been a very bright techie, graduated from BITS Goa. He has developed a platform for interview preparation, but he is currently working in Oracle for the last 1 year. Now, I told him, you have built a platform, you are so confident. Why don't you make it big? No, I want to work in Oracle. I said, why? I want to gain experience. I said, startup will give you more experience than Oracle. Oracle in one corner, you will be doing one small thing. He says, I have a fear that I cannot make it happen. So fear kills more dreams than failures ever will. So overcome fear. You also think asking for help reveals your lack of capabilities. You fear to ask for help. Arey yaar, I'll expose myself. And the last one is, after a setback, your confidence goes so low with a feeling of shame. Setbacks are part of life. Failures are part of learning. I keep saying this. You need not be ashamed of anything. In fact, you must be proud that you tried. 99 people don't try. You have tried. It's okay. Even if you failed in Unit 1, it's okay. You can do an async. What is it, that big thing that you have lost 5 weeks in your entire thing? Anyways, you are not doing anything. So what is the learning in those 5 weeks is very important. I was just talking to a friend of mine. He's younger to me. He reached out to me saying that he's changing some job. Then I sent him one JD, one opening. He came back to me. He never responded. Then after 1 month, I met him. I asked him, hey, you have not applied? He said that I don't meet 3 of the criteria required in the JD. Arey yaar, I do so much of recruitment. I'm not looking for 100% match. You should have applied. I think you qualify for it. People who write JD, they think they want moon, they want sun, Jupiter, Mars, everything. It is okay, you have one planet. So that's how it is, okay? And of course, you will see many a times imposter syndrome also overachievers. But because they are overachievers, they have set that kind of an expectation of perfectionism, they don't enjoy the success. And finally, people who have imposter syndrome, the anxiety level are high. All of us have anxiety. Do you think Sachin Tendulkar doesn't have anxiety facing Shane Warne? One of the brilliant spinners. He unfortunately passed away. I watched him bowling. He terrorized batsmen, right? Any format, right? Do you think there's no anxiety for Sachin? It is. But how do you handle them? is very important. Now, people who have imposter syndrome, what do? You isolate yourself from others. You have trouble sleeping. You work more hours, or you have to reduce a very less social life. This is my final slide for today. I think this will give you an understanding of imposter syndrome, and the rest we will take it up in the next session. People who have imposter syndrome, this is what they feel. It's a beautiful pictorial representation. What I know is so much, what I think others know is so much. Are you with me? I want you to have full attention to the screen. I've been talking for the last 55 minutes, but this is a summary of what I've said. Let's say that you join you join as a front-end developer, as a full-stack developer, and when you join, you think, I know so much, and what others know is so much. And because of that, I have an imposter syndrome. But in reality, what is in reality? The reality is this. The reality is, what I know is so much, what others know is also so much, but you are seeing in as a combined one. Each of them know only so much. Right? Please understand, all of whomever that you are seeing, they are good at something, you are also good in something. Please believe in that ABC formula. Abilities, you will get breaks if you keep looking out for it, and C is the courage. So this is the representation of what I want to do. So I started today's session by looking at an assessment. I hope some openers are there. I saw a message, what if I between 15 and 25, you are isolating between this side and that side, you need to move to the other side. It's all about thoughts, feelings and behavior. Again, I started with making a disclaimer. I am not clinically certified or a therapist. I'm just sharing with you what I could put together a complex topic. I hope it has been useful to start with. As what Prashant said, I don't have a vaccine or some tonics to be sent to your home saying that every day you have 100 ml with hot water for 100 days. Aap imposter se bahar niklega? Nahin. The only thing I'll keep saying is check your thoughts, feelings, and that translates into behavior. And this was something that I wanted to share with you for quite some time.